It's early morning, dawn, and the sun is currently rising. Although I normally don't make videos at this time, as it's dedicated to my daily spiritual practice and evolution of consciousness, collective consciousness. As I was sitting in what we can label meditation, after my and during simultaneous, right, daily spiritual practice, some thoughts arose in consciousness that I'd like to share with you. Now, first of all, I want to say I make these walking videos oftentimes because I don't have the camera, the camera stand with me, the phone stand. And although I'm not currently at a typical location, it's not a location, right? Consciousness is simultaneously permeating all of existence. And we can transcend the opposites of existence and non-existence at a certain level of spiritual consciousness. We want to understand that there's a non-physical spiritual reality beyond the physical body, beyond physical three-dimensional reality. And that's primarily what Jesus Christ, his power in those words, came to as a savior to humankind, for salvation, mainly through purification. And in contrast, Buddha came to teach enlightenment. But ultimately, they commonly share the fact that their embodiment or incarnation is dedicated to collective evolution, to the evolution of consciousness. And all concepts, we want to think in terms of consciousness. All of this physical reality, once we're at a certain level of spiritual enlightenment, there's a discernment that all of the physical reality is a manifestation of a concept, of a thought. And part of Christ's salvation, his teaching, was to relay certain concepts through expression so that people could accept their spiritual reality. That there's a dimensions, infinite dimensions beyond this third dimension, this physical, tangible reality, beyond form, beyond concrete physical body. We want to identify with the field rather than the content of the field. Identify with context. And as we advance in consciousness, we expand our context, our sense of beingness. We see that we feel that deep sense, that visceral sense of connectedness. And through the realization of the allness of reality, that fundamentally there is no nothingness. That could be a certain dimension, but really, divinity is allness. It's in everything. And although it's within the physical body, we don't want to necessarily worship the body. We can give the body its due, as it's here to serve its purpose in its expression, its manifestation, to serve the evolution of consciousness. Like it. And at a certain level, there may be luciferic temptations that arise that we can refuse. And instead of accepting power for its own sake, we can rededicate the power to the service of divinity and never use it for gain. Never use it for personal gain. We want to understand that consciousness in life, in its purest essence, which is expressed as physical substance, but the essence is beyond it. Again, there's realities, dimensions beyond the physical, tangible 3D reality that we all simultaneously and currently exist in physically. But we want to understand and think in terms of our spiritual reality so that we can not just personally evolve in consciousness, because as you do that, as you are that, as you be that, through action, we want to understand that we can being, just said that to rhyme, while acting simultaneously. There is no difference, there is no opposition between being and doing. All decisions and actions are one. I'm aware of what I'm doing and being and saying and thinking without necessarily identifying with it. I can understand and accept my spiritual reality, whatever level of consciousness I'm currently at, without denying my physical reality. But ultimately, I want to understand that consciousness precludes this physical body. It precedes it and continues on long after it and has a timeless trajectory. So we want to think in terms of our ultimate identity, even if that's not our current context of reality. And I know I'm kind of bouncing back and forth here. I hope I'm speaking clearly, as you might be able to see, or maybe you haven't noticed yet, but I'm going to point it out, that I haven't slept in a long time. You might be able to see it in my eyes, or maybe you didn't notice it till I pointed it out. That's the thing, the power of attention, the power of focus. We want to focus on consciousness, identify with consciousness, understand that we are pure consciousness, not bound by the seeming limitations and concepts that have to do with physical reality. We can simply be the witness. That's the only transcendent position in this physical dimension, to simply be the witness of all concepts as they arise in consciousness without identifying with them, without identifying with sound or physical vibration. We can be transcendent to it. We can be aware of it, lovingly aware, be the loving witness. Simple, pure awareness of the allness of existence, while aware from within a body, but being transcendent to it. Because my awareness is expanded to being all that's around me, as my attention is whole and complete and total, and thus I feel whole. I don't need to accumulate, stimulate, and get and serve a personal sense of meness, because my wholeness and identification and visceral feeling as that awareness, simultaneous allness, identification not even with existence itself, because there's no attachment to life. If you notice, happy people are willing to drop off at any instant. Happy people are very joyous, and thus they're generous. But it's more than just giving or taking. True compassion, as I said in the last video's description, is about, hey, it's 11:11. I looked at it at 11:11. Would you look at that? I know oftentimes when I make these walking videos, I'm not looking at the phone most of the time. Whereas when I have the camera stand, it's not just talking head, floating head. It's more body language. So, I like to exist without, beyond, transcendent to personal likes, attachments, and dislikes, aversions, and preferences. And because as pure awareness, there's equal pleasure in all circumstances. No preferences between this and that, because in the non-linear reality, in reality beyond the physical body, there is no this and that. It's all one. There's no me and you. In the physical reality, this is my body, that's your body. This is my mind, that's your mind. Because the mind in this physical reality is a manifestation of consciousness and seeming individuality, seemingly separate minds. Limited to time. But we want to understand that our essence is timeless and formless. And as we exist as we be the loving witness and identify with awareness, not with the body or mind, not with the actions, as we are simply aware of what the body seems to function and go along, and the personality, the mind, functions and does its thing without an internal doer, without somebody that feels like they're the cause of the action. You're kind of naturally animated by a presence and intelligence which allows your existence here in this domain to feel timeless. It all happens so quickly. Days go by, you lose track of time. It's like you're being pulled magnetically to the top of the spine. The self, the presence, your essence, which is not different from mine, is the direction of life, flowing upward. That upward flow, that upward spiral momentum. Sun is rising. Get in alignment with circadian rhythm, right? The sun is very vital, important for our vitality in this physical reality, to physical existence. In tune with the cycles of the moon. Title to a few videos ago. Got the sniffles. A little bit of mucus. Time to go on a fast, I think. Few days, a 3-day fast. Doesn't have to be anything, doesn't have to be a prolonged fast. Doesn't have to be anything major. You can work yourself, build yourself up to it. 3-day fast will temporarily purify the whole physical body. Those first 3, think of each day is dealing with one chakra. 1-day fast purifies the root chakra, third chakra, our connection to the Mother Earth. 2-day fast, that'll purify up to the sacral chakra, water element. The ocean is approximately 72%, or the Mother Earth is approximately 72% water, same as the physical body. That is not a coincidence. And then 3-day fast, that'll purify up to the solar plexus, right? The third chakra, third energy center in the spine. So a 3-day fast, and those 3 energy centers have to do with our physical existence. But any fast longer than 3 days, you're really in the hands of God and Mother Nature at that point. And prolonged fast, let's say anything from 5 days and up, will completely overhaul the body. It gives the organs of the body a deep physiological rest. Your bodily engines, the physical engines, which allow the body to function. And they're not constantly working, digesting, assimilating, and eliminating, masticating, all these different processes which take up energy, which consume, as you consume physical energy, your spiritual energy is working to transmute that physical energy into a non-physical dimension of energy, into ojas. But if you don't understand this consciously, or we consume more than the physical body needs, it's a curse to the body. And it's a curse to that pure and potent spiritual energy, which permeates all of humanity. The same energy within you and me. There's only unity. Any seeming separation, any perception of being separate is an artifact of perception. It's not reality. That may be someone's personal reality, subjectively, but that's not real reality. Well, this is not a philosophy on what's real and not real, because that video will be more than 18 minutes. Hey, 18. Eternity, right? I am eternity. My essence is eternal. And I say I am, I'm not talking about this physical body. I'm talking about the same I am that's in you. And as I said in the last video, I is a complete sentence. You don't need the word am to follow it. The eye in the sky, the continuous witness, the conscience. It's within all of us. When I get in tune and be aware of this conscience, we can say it's a holy conscious. And no, I'm not saying that I'm personally righteous, because anybody can see that that is really a vanity to claim personal righteousness. But there is a context of consciousness where we are naturally righteous. We're naturally virtuous. We don't pursue virtue. It's simply our way of being. There's no trying to do good. You know, oftentimes those do-gooders, they do more harm than good. Sometimes people with the best intentions do more harm than good. Then their reality, in their personal reality, they think they're doing the kamikaze, for instance, first thing that came to mind, arose in consciousness. They probably thought, wow, I'm doing God's service. Heck, and I personally think that too, right? A lot of us think that, but whether, that we believe that personally, whether that pertains to non-physical spiritual reality, that is another matter of discussion, which we won't get into, unlike what's real and not real. Because again, this is not necessarily a philosophy, although from a certain state of consciousness it could be. Should, could, and would, hypotheticals, right? Necessarily. All these different labels. Beyond sound, beyond physical vibration, all physical vibration, all emanation in this manifestation is a consequence of our essence and non-physical dimension of consciousness. All concepts that arise in consciousness are only by grace. It's only by the grace of God that we can even think of God, that we can even have the power to manifest in this world. And there's no personal power. All power belongs to God. We're simply a channel for that power to manifest in the world. When we think of ourselves, our personal concept, in terms of being a channel for the higher will, then we easily transcend the physical, transcend the personal, limited identity, and get in tune and in touch with that grace, with our timeless trajectory and evolution of collective humanity as we all exist simultaneously as the loving awareness, witness from within a physical body, as divinity is manifesting to, through, and as all of us, as this continuous process of consciousness, which is limitless, boundless, never limited by a physical body or a personal mentality or a seemingly separate boundary. Look at that. There's no, see, I can't even think of the word. No, embarrassment. And like I said, I gotta go on a fast. I clear some of this mucus out, right? It's a signal physically that I need to work more towards purity. There's always room for growth. Not just physically, but spiritually. And the physical body is a manifestation of that spiritual energy. This mucus is signifying, hey, You need to purify. Work more on your purity. Perhaps go on a fast. I'm going to keep saying that. Because you're beyond form. All disease, dis-ease, all physical ailments are a transgression of spiritual law. See, even though I stumbled there, even though there's another snot bubble coming down, like I said, there's no embarrassment. Because I know this comes from a pure place. Like I said in the last video, I go based on feeling. I make these videos from the heart. And thus I post this now. Even though in terms of linear temporal time, it probably won't be till a couple weeks from now. But it is the same now then as it is now, if that makes sense. You know, I was thinking back to reflecting on this one guy who always says later. He always says later. Whatever you say to him, like, have a good night. He always says later. And when you think about it, the same now is later. Now and later are one, just like me and you are one. There is no past and future. There is really even no present. Now is a concept. Anyways, I hope some of these concepts resonate. And I hope you at least, even if it doesn't make sense, if I'm not speaking clearly, hopefully you laugh at another snot bubble coming down, man. Wow. Chilly here in upstate New York. Hey, maybe I can get to sun rises in the east, baby. Amen. Hey, sleep with your head facing towards the east. There's a lot of tricks physically that can help us exist in this three-dimensional reality while maintaining our spiritual vitality. We want to seek the vitality that is given the ancient scriptures, the spiritual scriptures and texts, power, century after century. What existed as divinity back then is now. Now is the only place where God is found. But even saying that, like I said, now is a concept, and ultimately pure consciousness, pure awareness is beyond all concepts. It's even beyond emptiness and nothingness and non-existence. Like I said, looping back to the beginning of the video, we want to transcend the opposites of existence and non-existence. And understand, not just mentally, not even viscerally, not through feeling, but through experientially, even beyond the loving witness, even beyond awareness. There's no words for it. To be that allness. That where you are the light that is boundless. I'm just becoming aware as I close eyes at the fingertips. Man, and you hold your fingers like this, certain mudra, right? Not with your fingertips like this, and not like this, but the actual tips. You'll notice as you focus inwardly that you can feel your heartbeat in your fingertips. Anyways, have a beautiful day. I have nothing more to say. Amen. It's probably the only words I speak all day. Unless, all of life is in interactive dance to the responsiveness of existence. So unless, something happens where like this morning, that inspired me to speak, and who knows? Probably won't speak. There's just days and even weeks where Alex doesn't speak. Some people may pretend to be deaf and dumb, to be a monk, a silent monk, just to conserve their energy, to not waste it unnecessarily. But one person hears this and it makes a difference. I'm living my purpose, so I don't consider this unnecessary. So I'm led to do this subjectively. I don't even consider these thoughts mine. Something is doing this through me. Some higher guidance. I hope this faith transmits the bliss, the allness of existence. In reality, it's a realization of enlightenment. This ultimate spiritual goal is ever in awareness, evolution of consciousness, the bliss, the boundlessness that you are at heart, and even beyond. Love is an attachment. Because true love, unconditional love, is not an attachment. It's not something to get. It's not a possession. It has to do with compassion. Sometimes the most compassionate thing you can do is to tell somebody the truth that you know they're averse to. And you can open yourself up. You can welcome all seeming outer opposition, resistance. Because when you're inwardly non-resistant, there's a complete contentment in all circumstances, then nothing can resist you. Nothing in the world can resist a non-resistant person. and you know your intent at heart is pure, then there's no power in physical existence which can resist this, our essence, which is these words energetically, as I'm the witness. It's simply witnessing them flow out of me, identifying with the energy, not necessarily with the concepts. Hope this makes sense. God bless.